So hello, welcome to the next episode of Cool Tools Show or Share. This week we have a really cool instant camera. We have a fantastic, huge model of a gigantic Hornet that's a sculpture. And we have a really nifty device that is a reader for Wikipedia. So stay tuned for those three show or shares. Okay, Camille.
Yes, so I am very excited to show you guys this thing today. This is an instant camera, and it lets you, the special thing about this instant camera is that it lets you choose the photos you want to print rather than just spitting them out as you take them. So I'm going to go ahead and start it, and this is kind of how you power it on. It's got
Kodak.
It's Kodak, right? So this is called the Kodak Smile. There it goes. That means it's like ready for action. So that was about like a 10 seconds to warm up. The pictures come out here. And what else has it got? It's got a little spot for a micro SD card. You can only store like 3 pictures without the card in it. And it's got a little like micro USB for charging. And I'll show you a little bit how it works. So it doesn't have a viewfinder. You just use the LCD screen. Here's the caveat. We got this in my household. We've got 2 adults and 2 kids, and photography is like a really big hobby for all of us. And we've got like a whole variety of cameras, digital, film, a couple other instants. But this is the one that like my 5-year-old can easily use. It's got, I'm just going to click into the menu here. So here we are in the main menu, and when you have taken a photo that you decide you want to print, you just go into the gallery mode, and you can choose between internal memory or SD card. I'm going to go SD card, and here's a cute cat picture. I like cats. Let's go ahead and print this. So you can make a couple of adjustments. You can choose a like a monochrome or like a different, there's like an aqua filter. Once you've decided, you can just hit this like little print button on the bottom. It asks you how many copies, you confirm it, and then.
So your 5-year-old is able to navigate through all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. 5. I feel like he probably could have done this like at 4 also. Maybe this is a function of like the amount of like Game Boy switch time he has, but they learn these things quickly.
So this is a little different than say the instant or Fuji instance where you're just taking a picture of what you see. Here you are printing whatever it is that you choose after you've taken a couple pictures.
Correct. So
there it is.
This one, there it is. Ta-da. It's on zinc paper, Z ink. So
Right.
There's no printer cartridges in the camera. And these have like a sticker back. You can peel the backing off and then put them into an album or whatever you want to do with them. I really, really like this particular camera for like the ability to choose the photos you print. It's small and pretty lightweight. It's small enough for the 5-year-old to be able to easily handle it. It's like relatively affordable. There is another Fuji camera, the Li Play, that also lets you choose which ones you print, but it's a higher price point. Polaroid makes one that's really cute, very small, but the film is very fragile. You have to, once the prints come out, you have to let them sit for like 10 minutes. You have to be very careful about the way you touch it. So this one has like the right features for a kid to be able to easily use it. There are also other instant cameras that are made just for kids. Many of them use thermal printing paper, which I don't love. And many of them also have games on them, which I really don't love. My kid wants to be taking pictures. That's what I want them to be doing. I don't want them to be, you know, like, I'm not against playing games and screen time, but I don't need that on the camera.
Can you use that as a printer for printing from your
phone
or from another camera?
You can't, but there are others that do that. In fact, there are other Kodaks that will do that. I think there's another one called Kodak Smile Classic that has styling a bit more like a Polaroid. And that one has a Bluetooth connection to your phone. So you can print anything you've taken, whether it's with the camera or the phone to it. But this one is just really, really simple. This is the camera. It's got the LCD screen. There are others out there that don't have LCD screens, that just have viewfinders. But I like the screen for him to be able to see what he's taking pictures of. Yeah, no, it's been great. We've had it a week.
And how much is it?
$100.
Okay. And that's the Kodak Smile?
That's right. Yeah, the Kodak Smile.
Wow. Okay, great. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to share something that was actually suggested by Mark. And that is,
wait to see what it is.
That is my Asian giant Hornet model.
The murder Hornet.
The murder Hornet.
Wow,
This is a fantastic, it's articulated. There's even a little, you can open up the thing here and take out the stinger. You can move the legs, the wings. You can actually have you can have closed wings on it if you want it. And you can position it in different ways. The quality and the craftsmanship is unbelievable. It's just really, really, the jaws open. They're seamless. It just looks really fantastic.
So cool.
And it's just art. I mean, it's not really a toy. It's like, who would want one of these on their desk, right? And it came in a really kind of very fancy Japanese style box with a little, I don't know what they call it, a closure thing. It opens up. So something. It's all very Japanese packaged, which, you know, the package is going to be thrown away, but it's this kind of indication of the quality of it. It's called a Revo Geo, and they have a couple different creatures that they do by the sculptor Shinobu Matsumura. And but this one for me, because I like, it's this actual real species. It's called Vespa Mandarin, and it's an actual, and I don't know the actual size. It's not this big.
I hope not.
But it's a very large Asian Hornet. But the quality is just so incredible. It's just really
beautiful. And how much was it, Kevin?
It was less than $100. It was like maybe $89 or something.
And were you able to get it on Amazon, or did you have to go?
No, it wasn't on Amazon. There was a link that you sent it to. It was another site. It was some other Japanese toy site. So it was not Amazon, but it is, again, there's a stand that I don't have where you can articulate it and you can have it in stinging mode. I have it kind of set up here to crawl across my desk.
Do those things move together when you lift the bottom of the abdomen up? Do the
No,
wings?
it's actually articulated. There's 5 different segments.
Right.
And again, I can even open it up and get the stinger to come out if I work at this. There's little magnets which I think you have to open up this first this way. Yeah.
But all the moving parts are independent of each other. Like moving one part doesn't. Oh, there it is.
Stinger right there.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah,
That is intense.
it is. But yeah, it probably comes apart. There's some ball joints here and there. And
So it
actually
came pre-assembled. You didn't have to put it together.
I didn't have to put together just the wings.
Mhm.
And it comes with some spare joints. And I guess they're imagining that maybe kids are these joints are ball joints with pins, and you get 5 or 6 spare ones. So maybe
Kids
they
will
do break
snap
with
them off.
kids playing with them a lot. I'm not really sure.
Now, did the stand come with it, or is that an
Yes.
optional purchase? Oh, so
The
it
stand
does
came
come
with
the
it.
stand.
It's a little glass or clear plastic stand that can hold it. I didn't assemble it. So Revo Geo.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, that's my
That's
latest
very cool.
addition to my table where all my creatures.
As someone, I gotta say, as someone who has like, I would say verging on like a legit phobia of wasps and hornets.
Oh.
It is so realistic looking. I got that feeling in the pit of my stomach just looking at it. That's really cool. Very realistic.
Yeah.
And maybe I should consider getting one as like a
Therapy.
desensitization therapy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would
Cool.
be cool.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's great. Good one. So interestingly enough, mine looks a little bit like Camille's. It's a little bit, it's got a screen, but this is much more retro. It's from the year 2009, and it's an offline Wikipedia reader. It's got a 4 gigabyte memory card in it. And this was a project that was started, I think, by a Taiwanese company. And I'll turn it on here. It's got a touch screen, and so it has this snapshot from Wikipedia 2009. It came out, when it came out, it was about $100, and it was discontinued. People didn't really want it, but I ended up buying one for $10 on Amazon, and I posted about it on Boing Boing, and it quickly sold out. You can still get them on eBay for between about $85, and some that are in the box and everything would be like $250. But the cool thing is that there's still an active community on Reddit that is taking snapshots of Wikipedia and making them available to upload to an SD card. It's like it takes a 16 gigabyte SD card now that you put in, micro SD card, and then you can have a more recent text only snapshot, complete Wikipedia offline, no internet required.
But I remember that there was a way to export Wikipedia to like a solid state, even a phone. I think there was a phone version.
There are, and that's why this is more of a curiosity in a way. If you really wanted an offline Wikipedia, what I would do is go to a place like backmarket.com or Gazelle and buy an iPhone 6 for $100, and then you're going to have a really nice.
I mean, and then download Wikipedia.
Yeah, and then you can just get there's free apps that have a full snapshot of Wikipedia, and depending on how much memory, you can even get the images too. And so you could have just Wikipedia. So that's probably really the way to do it. There's also, I think, people who've come up with Raspberry Pis with touch screen devices that are upgraded, but I still just really like this little one as kind of an artifact. And it's got the Cool Tools entry in it. And I just read it this morning, and I learned something about Cool Tools that I didn't know before. That in 2009, Cool Tools was hacked.
Yeah, kinda.
Let me see what it says here. Do you remember that?
Cool
I
Tools.
mean, it was weird. That was like one of the only things that was like the.
Yeah, I think there was like a denial of service style. I remember all the back end, like all the.
I think
Here's the.
I can't read that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll read it to you here.
But I think there was something. I don't know if they altered anything other than maybe I think they.
Well, let's see what it says, and maybe you can correct it if it's
Yeah.
wrong. On or about November 6th, 2009, the site was hacked with an unspecified injection attack and was listed by, this is a typo, listed by as suspicious and as a potential hack site by a Google advisory.
Yeah.
The issue has since been repaired and the hacked content removed.
Right.
Okay.
So when people try to access it, it said, not trustworthy.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that kind of thing happens. But anyway, that's from the 2009. And I just actually downloaded the torrent. So you can go to Reddit/WikiReader and you can download snapshots of this because like I said, there's still community for it. And so if you want offline Wikipedia, just download it onto your phone or buy a phone. You can have a standalone device. But one of the uses for these things is when you are traveling around the world in remote locations that don't have internet connectivity, then you can read about the towns that you're visiting and all sorts of other useful information.
Yeah. Do you know how big the size of Wikipedia right now is if you downloaded it for your phone?
It is about, the 2021 snapshot was about, just text only, about 8 gigabytes.
Oh,
so that's not too bad.
Yeah,
that's not too bad. Images, it'll be 10 times as big, but so not too bad. So anyway, it's a fun little thing to have, and if you can get one for $10,
yeah, that's really great. I traveled with a guy, George Church, who had his Wikipedia offloaded, but it was on his laptop and his phone, and he had it on all the time. It was hardly possible to talk to him without him.
Oh my God.
Calling up something. And what was interesting was that he used Wikipedia as his notebook. So he was a heavy editor, meaning that whenever he learned anything, he put it in Wikipedia.
Right. So this is
so because that's where he went to look for everything. So it was his way of remembering things. It was like he learned something, he put it right away into Wikipedia if it wasn't there. And the only reason we learned it wasn't in Wikipedia. And then he was looking at Wikipedia all the time for everything.
Oh man. That is funny.
So this is very much a read only, meaning like
this
if
one
you want,
is, yeah.
And
one of the fun things that I forgot to tell you is it only has 3 buttons on it. And so you can see the history of the previous things you've looked up, and it's touch screen. And then there's also a random button. It'll just bring up a random article, which is a fun thing to do. And I've learned quite a bit.
What's it called?
It's called the WikiReader. And you can find, there's a lot of stuff about it on online, including the website. The manufacturer website is still up there, but it hasn't been updated in a while.
That's really cool. Well, thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this this episode of our Show or Share, Cool Tool Show or Share. And we'll see you next time.